Josh Allen, Ryan Tannehill, Tom Brady, Sam Bradford, Josh McCown, Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Tyrod Taylor, Ben Roethlisberger, Deshaun Watson, Andrew Luck, Blake Bortles, Jacoby Brissett, Marcus Mariota, Case Keenum, Patrick Mahomes, Phillip Rivers, Derek Carr, Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, Alex Smith, Nick Foles, Mitch Trubisky, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Drew Brees, Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Josh Rosen, Jared Goff, CJ Beathard, and Russell Wilson. Why did I just start the recap by naming a bunch of quarterbacks? Well, those are all the quarterbacks in the NFL that I consider better than Eli Manning. Eli Manning is garbage, okay? We're going to start off this Eagles recap by saying Eli Manning is absolute trash. And I've been saying this for a long time. I've been saying this for well over a year, into probably 2 years, that Eli Manning does not deserve to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And you guys know how much I rip on Blake Bortles and some of these quarterbacks across the NFL. Eli Manning played worse today than I've ever seen Blake Bortles play. And if you saw the game against the Kansas City Chiefs, Blake Bortles played pretty bad last game. So, yes, the Eagles did win this game. And we will talk about the positives with the Eagles. But the storylines that will come out of this game are not going to be about the Philadelphia Eagles and how they've had a bounce back victory and how they are now 3-3. The storylines will consist of the front page of the news in New York, across America, is going to be that Odell Beckham is selfish, that the Giants have a problem with Odell. And the storyline that's going to slip right under the radar is the fact that Eli Manning is trash. He sucks. He is awful. He can't throw the football. He should not play in the NFL as a starting quarterback. He sucks. He should retire. Troy Aikman was on commentary today talking about how basically saying he sucks, but not saying it. He started off the broadcast by saying that they have not thrown many passes over 5 yards because Eli, I don't think it took until well into the second quarter. It was about 2 minutes left in the second quarter before the New York Giants actually attempted a pass beyond 10 yards. It was utterly ridiculous, predictable, and complete utter garbage from the quarterback position today from Eli Manning. I feel bad for Pat Shurmur. This is a rookie head coach coming into a situation where he's asked to be an offensive coach, where he's asked to turn around this offense, and he's drawing up plays for Eli to strike down the field, and Eli simply won't do it. He's sitting in the pocket. He's shitting in his pants. It's ridiculous. Eli Manning is garbage, okay? I just started off I have to go through it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could include Jimmy Garoppolo. Didn't do that. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. 40 NFL quarterbacks are better than Eli Manning right now. He needs to retire. Okay, I don't care if you put him in the Hall of Fame, you don't put him in the Hall of Fame. His time has passed. He has no zip on the football. He's scared to get hit. I don't care what you say about the offensive line. I don't care what you say about the dysfunction on defense or in the locker room. I don't care. He sucks. Okay, you see Russell Wilson with a bad offensive line. He continues to make plays. He continues to win. Josh Allen, with the worst supporting cast in the NFL, has 2 wins. He's a rookie who is considered not ready to play. Baker Mayfield is on the Browns, and he has 2 wins. Okay? Deshaun Watson has a worse offensive line than the Giants, and he's still making plays. You didn't see quarterbacks that are considered all-time great quarterbacks in moments of their career have a PR machine like freaking Eli Manning. It's actually ridiculous with Eli Manning how he gets away with everything. The Giants fans are brainwashed into thinking that Eli Manning is not the issue with this team. If the Dallas Cowboys switched coaches and receivers with the Giants, they would be 13-3. They would be 13-3. The Giants, if you watch this game, Saquon Barkley was unbelievable in this. Unbelievable. He had one of the best running back performances I've seen in my entire life today. It was incredibly impressive. They were comparing him to freaking Barry Sanders. You don't just compare people to Barry Sanders out of thin air. You just don't do that, okay? This guy was unbelievable. The Eagles won 34-13. The Eagles won 34-13 in your home field in a must-win game, and you didn't attempt to pass over 10 yards until 2 minutes left in the second quarter. I'll get back to Eli. Okay. The Eagles win. Now, we need to put some focus on the Eagles because, yes, a lot of people, like I started off, they will be talking about the Giants. Okay, they will be talking about the Giants. So I feel like I should do you guys a favor by talking about maybe the other team that was in the game because I feel like they're not going to get a lot of coverage. So let's go through the stats and let's go through the positives for the Eagles. I'll get to the Giants later. Carson Wentz, 26 for 36, 278, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 122.2. Carson Wentz has looked better every week. Positively, he definitely has the confidence to sit in and take hits still. He definitely has the ability with his legs to still move, and he's fearless when he has the same attitude that he did last year when he's on the run scrambling. He made some big-time throws in this game. He took some hits in this game, and he definitely looks like he's still a franchise quarterback. So if you're an Eagles fan and were any bit worried about Carson Wentz, you shouldn't be worried. I thought this was overall his best performance of the season that I've seen so far. Running game, not overly impressive today from the Eagles' point of view. They made a couple of runs here and there. Later in the game, they were pretty good. Corey Clement to me is the better back out of the two. Wendell Smallwood had more carries, 18 for 51. To me, Corey Clement should be the lead back. He had 11 for 43 and a touchdown, 3.9 yards per carry as compared to 2.8. Now, I think that the run game and also the issue with the Eagles offense stems from their offensive line play. Last year, the Eagles offensive line was arguably, if not, I thought it was the best in the NFL last year. But this year, it's not been very good. And of course, well, Eli Manning will blame his offensive line, and Giants fans will blame their offensive line. The Eagles' offensive line has not been very good this year. Carson Wentz still making plays, still making throws, and they're still trying to attempt to run the football. And I just don't think the Eagles this year, for the rest of the year, will have an overly effective run game because it doesn't seem like the Eagles' offensive line is nearly the same. Peters gets hurt just about every game. He's banged up. He can't really get it done. He just doesn't seem like the same player. Lane Johnson's been getting beat regularly. Both of those guys on the edges have been getting beat a lot and often. And even the Giants, with a front that's not very impressive, was getting a lot of pressure against Carson Wentz. So that is a negative if you're an Eagles fan. You want to see that offensive line dominate. If you can get back to what your offensive line was last year, this team is a contender. But if they can't get back to that, this team will not be much. It's just as simple as that. The Eagles won the Super Bowl last year because they dominated the line of scrimmage. They dominated on defense. They dominated it on offense. And this year so far, while their defensive line is very solid and it can get it done, the offensive line has not been where you want it to be so far. Receiving, I thought Alshon Jeffrey had a great game. 8 catches, 74 yards, 2 touchdowns. Looks great after the injury. Nelson Aguilar had a couple of big plays. One was wide open for 58 yards. 3 catches, 91 yards. Zach Ertz, 7 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. A decent Zach Ertz day, not his best game ever, not his worst game ever. Jordan Matthews, 2 catches, 26 yards. I think he should get a little bit more play. To me, he's at least their third best receiver by a far margin. I feel like he should play a little bit more. Corey Clement, 3 catches, 26 yards. DeAndre Carter, 1 for 11. Dallas Goedert, 1 for 7. Defensively, Jalen Mills had a better game here. He didn't get beat deep very often, but also they didn't throw the ball deep against him, which that's the Eagles' biggest weakness. Playing man-to-man and blitzing like a stupid idiot at times, and the Jalen Mills usually gets beat on those double moves. While Eli Manning simply can't make the throws to execute against the Eagles defense. So while you may say at home, hey, the Eagles defense is back, they look better, well, you're facing the 41st best quarterback in the NFL. So, I mean, it's easy to look better. Jordan Hicks was great in this game. He caused an interception, had 10 tackles. Jenkins was solid. Michael Bennett was solid besides 1 penalty, had 3 quarterbacks hit, a sack. He's definitely back. He's definitely still a good player. Fletcher Cox dominated as usual. Ronald Darby had a solid game. Besides that, nobody really stuck out. Grugier Hill had the interception on the play. Other positives for the Eagles, I just thought the play calling from Doug Peterson's perspective was very good. They played with a lot of heart. They played like they needed to win this game. They played like their back was against the wall, and that's nice to see. And they played like a champion, so that's good. If you're an Eagles fan, you should be proud of the way your team played today. But again, we got to go back to the Giants. The Giants, they have no passion. I tweeted about it during the game. They have no passion. And people are going to sit there. They're going to blame Odell, whatever it may be. They're going to talk about how he left one play before halftime. It is not Odell. It is the fact that the team does not believe in their supposed leader, Eli Manning. Eli Manning is supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to be their leader, and he is the worst player on their team. He's the worst player on their team. They do not believe in him. As soon as they go down, they have no faith they can come back. And their defense loses focus. Their defense loses focus. They give up. They show no effort. And then all of a sudden, the Eagles offense breaks out and they win the game. As you saw, the Eagles offense didn't start to get going until the Giants seemingly quit. And Troy Aikman said it. I was thinking it. Joe Buck was talking about it. It just seemed like people were tweeting about it. It just seemed like the Giants quit. They did not care. And that's what happened last year. And yeah, people blame Ben McAdoo. But when are we going to blame the fucking quarterback? He sucks. He's awful. Garbage. Okay, Giants stats. Saquon. I'm not even going to acknowledge the quarterback. 13 for 130 yards, 1 touchdown. 10 yards a carry. 10. You lost the game, and your running back had 10 yards a carry. 10. When's the last time a team lost a game when their running back had 10 yards a carry? Can somebody please look that stat up? When was the last time a team lost a game when their running back had 10 yards a carry? Oh, he also led the team in receiving. 9 catches, 99 yards. He had over 200 yards in this game, and he literally did look like the second coming of Barry Sanders. He's electric, dude. And he had the most exciting play of the game. He had that long touchdown, 50 yards. Cody Latimer had a couple catches. The first deep throw that Eli threw was to Cody Latimer for 39 yards. Odell had a bunch of screens and dump-offs for 44 yards on 6 catches. Sterling Shepard, 3 for 37. And you can just tell after these guys catch the ball, like, whether it's Odell, whether it's Shepard, like, catching the ball and just frustration. And then you saw that there's a clip. If you guys haven't seen it, I retweeted it. There's a clip out there on Twitter. Pat Shurmur said, throw the ball. He literally says it. Throw the ball. I don't know, man. And then Martellus Bennett. We all know Martellus Bennett. He's outspoken. He's honest. I wish him the best of luck. I followed his new show on Instagram. Go support Martellus Bennett. Very creative guy, very good guy. Go support him. He says on Twitter, man, these commenters have taken 150 shots at Odell tonight. Shut the F up. Talk about the game. Stop trying to vilify every single thing he does. The Giants are a bad team, and it's not because of him. Criticize how bad Eli is playing. And that's exactly what I think. Colin Cowherd also said something like this as well. It's frustrating. I don't even like the Giants. In fact, they're one of my least favorite teams. They beat my team twice in the Super Bowl. But as a football fan, this is just mind-boggling. I don't get it. Defensively for the Giants, I thought Landon Collins was solid. Made a few plays, had 10 tackles, led the team. Eli Apple is still pretty bad. He did have 3 pass deflections, though. Damon Harrison is a beast. Olivier Vernon looked good in his comeback. A sack, 2 quarterback hits, had some pressure. Alec Ogletree does improve this team with his speed in the middle. As Michael Lombardi says, if your middle linebacker is slow, your defense is slow. And I don't ever get the sense the Giants' defense is slow because Ogletree is fast. Other than that, I mean, I don't really know what to say. I'm going to read the comments. Robot Guy says, sup, y'all. Bodo says, who won? Eagles won, of course. Malik says, my Giants always disappoint me. Good game, Eagles. Love playing you. Eli has to go. I agree, Malik. Your boy Scotty says, are the Eagles officially back? Again, in some ways, they improved. I'll say they improved. I'm not willing to say they're back. They have a few really tough games coming up. As we check their schedule, they have a few tough games coming up. They play the Carolina Panthers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Dallas Cowboys, and the New Orleans Saints. So that's going to be a tough road ahead. So including in their schedule, they still play the Panthers, who are a playoff team, looking like a playoff team, the Jaguars, who are probably a playoff team, and that's in London, where the Jaguars are like pretty much unbeatable. Then they play the Cowboys at home on Sunday night. Then they play the Saints in New Orleans. Then they play the Redskins twice still. They play in Dallas still. They play the Giants again, which that's a win. Then they play at the Rams. They play the Texans, who are getting better every week. So this is a tough rest of schedule. We're going to see what the Eagles are really made of through the course of the season. If they go on to beat the Panthers and they're in a close game against the Jags, I'll be willing to say that the Eagles are a playoff team and they're back. But if they don't, then I still think they're the same team who just happened to beat a bad team and a bad quarterback. Robot Guy says every QB is better than Eli. He's a dumpster fire. That might be true. I named 40 off the top of my head. Rob says factor fiction, Eli gets benched. Probably not. I don't know. Factor fiction and 9-7 wins the NFC East. I would say fact. Photo says 7-9. It's between Washington and Philly. I mean, Dallas still has a shot, but it's not a big one. I want to see if the Eagles do trade for LaShawn McCoy. I don't see it being Le'Veon Bell. Maybe LaShawn McCoy. I would like that because I was always a big fan of LaShawn McCoy when he was in Philadelphia. Bodo says, Mitch, you forgot the third string quarterbacks and the emergency quarterbacks like ODB. Yeah, Odell did look better than Eli last week. Xavier says, laugh my ass off. Eli's the worst quarterback in the NFL. G-Men should listen to offers for Odell. Maybe I don't think so, but I mean maybe if it continues to go like this. Robot Guy says, I think that these last few years have pushed Manning's chances of being in the Hall of Fame way down. I would agree. I think there comes a certain point where your accomplishments are hindered by you sticking around and ruining those accomplishments. Like, they'll never take away your 2 Super Bowls, but you can leave this image in a person's mind of what you were like at the end of your career in any profession, whether that's, the mailman down the street, a quarterback in the NFL, a singer or an artist, or, or like a performer in any regard. I feel like if people just see you at the end of your career and you're not nearly what you used to be, and you're still trying to hang on to the last hope that you have, then I feel like it does hinder the image in your mind. It's not going to take away from the list of accomplishments you've acquired. It might only add to that, but it's going to just put in the mind of the voters, was this guy really that good? Like, he was probably just fortunate more than anything, which I think a lot of people do agree with that. And my big-ass water bottle is back. Don't you wish Saquon was on a better team? I think Saquon and the Giants will be a good team once they get a quarterback, which I hope is next year. I think once they move on from Eli and they get a young quarterback in there who's promising, I feel like this team can be talented. So while I would like to see for this year Saquon on a better team with a better offensive line, going into the future, I think Saquon in New York will be what's best for the NFL. He's a star. Fact or fiction? Does Bortles send Eli a gift because Blake is no longer the worst quarterback? I would if I was him, but that's totally up to Blake. Just a question. How good would Saquon be in Washington with that offensive line? I think he would be talking about Saquon in 2,000-yard territory if he had Washington's offensive line. Xavier says, can we talk about how the Giants are the worst team in the NFL? They might be the worst team in the NFL. They might very well be. I mean, they play a pretty weak schedule coming up. They play the 49ers. They play the Falcons. Both teams are 1-4, so it's up to them. They can determine that for themselves. Robot Guy says it would be awesome to see Barkley on a good team. The Giants are letting Barkley and Odell go to waste this season for sure, Xavier. The O-line wasn't that bad this game for the Giants, I thought. I mean, they had a couple of moments, but mostly it was just the statue Eli Manning sitting there. Ultra's very happy with Barkley's performance as he has him in a PPR league. That's awesome. Training Solution says they were targeting Mills a lot. There was one drive where on all 3 downs, they took a 15-yard shot. That's kind of what you got to do. Does Eli prove how important quarterbacks are to anyone else? Yeah, I think if Eli were on the Packers, they would be the worst team in the NFL. If Eli were on the Colts, they would be the worst team in the NFL. If Eli were on, I don't know, the Bills, they would be the worst team in the NFL. You could probably go down the list for a while and say if Eli were on this team, they'd be the worst team in the NFL. Even if Dak Prescott was on the Giants, they would be in this game. This would be a close, competitive matchup. Bodo says, it's not Eli's fault, Mitch. It's the ownership for succumbing to fan pressure to fire the coaches and GMs. Eli should have insight, but it's not easy to admit you are washed up. I mean, it's not Eli's fault. It's the Giants organization's fault for playing Eli. So I think that's what you're trying to say. And in that sense, I would agree with you. Ultra says Barkley was the best player in the draft. He'll be a stud. But if Rosen and Darnold are just good, it will be a blown pick. I don't think it will be a blown pick if they nail a quarterback within the next 2 years. That's my thing. Like, people are saying, oh, you should have picked a quarterback here and there. But Saquon is the best running back prospect to come out of the draft since Adrian Peterson. And if you truly believe that, and if he's getting comparisons to Barry Sanders, and you already have Odell there, and you're building your offensive line, I just feel like if you get a rookie quarterback within the next couple of years that you truly do believe in to pair along with those guys, then you're building something. Like, it doesn't have to be the quarterback over the running back, because you never know you're going to hit a, like, Barkley was as sure of a thing as anybody that's been coming in the draft, like, in recent years. So, I mean, it's hard to not pick him. Eli will get to the Hall of Fame because he's not an ass to the press. Training Solution says extremely popular QB in New York that non-NFL fans perceive as good. He's a lock if he deserves it or not. I would agree he's a lock, but I just think, like, I don't understand what they're doing right now. Like, yeah, he had his prime, he had his years, but he's done. Quarterbacks that deserve to go to the Hall of Fame ahead of Eli: Brady, Rodgers, Wilson, Breeze, Roethlisberger, Stafford, Ryan, Newton, Luck, Rivers. Add to that list Romo. Like, recent guys that just retired. Romo, McNabb, those sort of guys. I think they're better than Eli. But Eli was in the right time, right place, right time. And yeah, he did have a couple years. Paulie, thank you for the $1, bro. Eagles go 2-2 the next 4 weeks. I think they can still survive if they go 2-2. So overall, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed this recap. I got out what I needed to say. Eli is garbage. He's fucking garbage. He's terrible. And he is absolutely just the worst quarterback that you could have. And the Giants, Giants fans, I feel bad for you. Odell shouldn't be taking all this blame, and he will be. But somebody had to say it. Somebody had to stand up. Somebody had to say it. And Odell was just addressing what needed to be said. And that's my stance on it. You can disagree. That's perfectly okay. But as Martellus Bennett said, that's my take. So, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new to the Bottom Line View and you want more NFL reactions, recaps like this, NFL news, fantasy football. Also, I have 2 fantasy videos out in the next 2 days. Of course, my Stardom and Situm will be out tomorrow. I'm also going to have a video revolving around fantasy trading. So, like, who you should trade for, who you should trade away. That's going to be in one video for you guys to check out for you fantasy players. Also, this weekend, the recaps, I'm going to be doing the great Chargers versus Browns game, and possibly also the Patriots Chiefs. I'll see about that one. Maybe. It depends what I'm doing. So again, hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked it, hit the like button, share it with your friends, follow us on Twitter. I'm at Mitch Milani, and subscribe to the Bottom Line View. All right, guys, have a nice one. Peace out.